our diamond anniversary. What a perfect gemstone to symbolize our chapter. Diamonds are beloved for sparkle and radiance, for having many facets, for being strong, for having great value, and for enduring through time. This describes Oak Park Alumni Chapter beautifully. It all began with Miss Astrid Matson, a recent voice graduate of the American Conservatory of Music, where she received the Sword of Honor. There was an alumni chapter in Chicago, but Astrid thought it would be a good idea to have something in the western suburbs, which would be more convenient for those outside of the city to attend. She contacted Hazel Lloyd, the province secretary, for some advice as to how to go about starting a chapter and to help her locate other alumni. So, in response to invitations sent by Astrid, 11 SAIs met for tea at the Oak Park Arms Hotel on February 6, 1944. The group elected Astrid as president of the new West Suburban SAI alumni group. They quickly set about planning the requirements for functioning as a group, holding 5 meetings yearly, having 3 musicales, cooperating with active chapters and other alumni chapters in the area, contributing to national fraternity activity, and supporting civic musical activities. After meeting for 2 years and growing in numbers to 25, the group decided to apply for a charter as an official alumni chapter, and were installed at the Oak Park Alumni Chapter on October 13, 1946. We would like to share with you the stories of some of these charter members.
Astrid Matson Silberer. After serving as our first president, Astrid continued her service to SAI as a province president. She received the Rose of Honor and the National Alumni Leadership Award, the Diamond Sword of Honor. Astrid holds a special place in the heart of our members for her foresight and loyalty to our chapter through the years. We hosted a special birthday party and musicale for her 100th birthday at the Homestead Senior Living Facility. Her smile always brightened our meetings. Astrid died in 2010 at the age of 102. Ethel Monday Bullard. Ethel was our version of the Energizer Rabbit. She was a 1931 initiate of Gamma Chapter, where she received the Sword of Honor. She graduated with a degree in piano performance. Her community service included president of the McDowell Artists Society, pianist for Oak Park River Forest High School musicals for 30 years, musical director for the Elmwood Park Theater musical productions, concert pianist, accompanist, and teachers. She received the Steinway Award for community service to music. Her service to SAI was unending. She served as Panpipes editor, national editor for 5 years, and was instrumental in establishing the SAI Memorial Library at the University of Michigan. Ethel was always involved when conventions were held in Chicago. She compiled a history of SAI from 1903 to 1993, as well as histories of Oak Park alumni. She received a Certificate of Merit for her ongoing work with creating a music appreciation course for the Hadley School for the Blind. She served as president of Oak Park Alumni Chapter and received the Rose of Honor. Ethel was awarded the Ring of Excellence for her lifelong body of work. Died in 1998 at the age of 87. Grace Carlson. Grace was an initiate of Omega Chapter in 1938 and graduated with a bachelor's and master's degree in voice. Grace's service to SAI was also lifelong. She served as Gamma Province President, was convention chairman for 4 conventions in Chicago, was national chaplain from 1956 to 1975, chairman of Ritual Revisions for 2 editions of the Ritual, professional meetings coordinator, and national archivist. Locally, Grace was director of music at the Fourth Congregational Church of Chicago, president for several terms of the Chicago Interchapter Council of SAI, a member of the Musicians Club of Women, and the National Association of Teachers of Singing. Grace designed the Rose of Honor Award. Grace liked to remind us to be gracious Greeks and was a living example of what our ritual inspired us to be. She was a past president of our chapter and received the Ring of Excellence from SAI. Grace died in 1995. Marilyn Welker Kinzer. Marilyn was initiated at New Chapter at Millikan University in 1939, where she was a piano major. Marilyn left school to marry and never completed her studies, but as a surprise from her family on her 80th birthday, Millikan honored Marilyn's long career with a Bachelor of Music degree. Marilyn was referred to as a mentor of musicians through her work as pianist, accompanist, and chamber musician. She served SAI as a province president and province vice president, in addition to being president of Oak Park Alumni for 2 terms. She received the Sword of Honor, Rose of Honor, and Rose of Dedication from the chapter. Marilyn was an active member and performer in the McDowell Artists Association, president of the Chicago Area Professional Panhellenic Association, and active in many other Oak Park musical organizations. Marilyn was another lifelong dedicated SAI. She died in 2004 at the age of 80. Lillian Vesely Brookie. Lillian received a Bachelor of Music from McMurray College and was initiated as a graduate student by Alpha Xi Chapter. She was a voice major. She served that chapter as president and received the Sword of Honor. Lillian won the Chicago Cook County Vocal Contest as part of the Chicagoland Music Festival. She served as music supervisor in Downers Grove grade schools and taught at Riverside Grammar Schools, where she replaced another chapter, Mabel Beaver, who had been her grade school music teacher. She was a longtime soloist at the First Presbyterian Church of Wheaton and then at the Berwyn Presbyterian Church. Lillian was a province vice president, active in interchapter council, and always involved in some way when conventions were held in Chicago, including cutting thorns off of roses, which seems to be a task that Oak Park alums end up doing frequently. Lillian, along with other charter members Ruth Brenneman and Peggy Hayek, formed the Music Makers vocal trio. The fees from their performances in schools and civic organizations were all donated to SAI Philanthropies. She was the first chairman of the SAI Regional Scholarship and received the Rose of Honor. When we presented Founders Day rituals, Lillian, our tallest member, always portrayed Nora Crane Hunt, who described herself as the tallest of the Pipes of Pan. Lillian moved to Milwaukee to be closer to her daughter and affiliated with the Milwaukee Alumni Chapter, where she continued to sing and to volunteer for musical organizations. We were thrilled when she received the Diamond Sword of Honor as a climax to her full musical life and service to SAI. Lillian died in 2011 at the age of 95. Margaret Schenk Hayek. Peggy, as she was called, was a voice major and an initiate of Gamma Chapter in 1927, receiving the Sword of Honor. Peggy became certified as a bold note transcriber and spent many hours in the tedious and precise job of enlarging music scores by hand. She was a member of the Music Makers Trio with Lillian Brookie and Ruth Brenneman, all Riverside residents. She held many chapter offices and headed several convention committees. We remember her gentle ways and love of SAI. She received the Rose of Honor. Peggy died in 1998. Ruth Rowe Brenneman. Ruth was a 1933 initiate of Sigma Sigma Chapter and received her degree in voice. She was the third member of the Music Makers Trio as well as a frequent soloist. Ruth held many offices and served on countless committees in the chapter as well as for the Chicago conventions. She received the Rose of Honor and also the Steinway Award for community service to music. She hosted several delightful potluck suppers for members and their spouses. Ruth died in 2000. Bernice Bott Braming. Bernice was initiated by Sigma Delta chapter in 1928 and was a violin major who enjoyed a long and distinguished performing career. Bernice was concertmaster of the Women's Symphony Orchestra of Chicago, as well as concertmaster of the McDowell Artists Concert Orchestra. She played in the Grant Park Symphony, Lyric Opera Orchestra, and was violinist in the Fine Arts Trio. She taught at the Associated Music Studios of Oak Park. Bernice always found time to participate in chapter activities and head committees, and received the Sword of Honor in 1952. Bernice died in 1971. Clara Fernhaber. Clara was a voice major at a 1929 initiate of Gamma chapter, where she received a Sword of Honor. She taught piano for many years and traveled to her students by bus, since she did not drive. Upon her death in 1970, the chapter received many donations from former students and friends in her memory, and the Growing with Music Fund was established in her name. The purpose was to encourage and develop promising talent in musically deprived children, and partially subsidize lessons to needy students of our members. 2 benefit concerts augmented the funds available, and the project was able to continue for many years. Clara was known as the Dragon Lady, since she was always dragging items to sell at meetings. She was Ways and Means chairman for many years and organized the first white elephant auction, which brought in a whopping $44.20 in 1954. Bernice Tillman. Bernice was initiated by Omega chapter in 1930 and was a voice major. In addition to serving as Oak Park alumni president and other offices, she was province president at the time of her death in 1963. Her husband donated $1,000 to the chapter in her memory, which was used to establish a correspondence course in music appreciation at the Hadley School for the Blind. As noted earlier, Ethel Bullard wrote the syllabus for the course and selected and purchased the records used. Dorothy Ellis Labar. Dorothy was initiated by Sigma Delta chapter in 1932 and graduated with a degree in piano. She sang in the choir of the Gary Memorial Methodist Church in Wheaton for 50 years. She was named Wheaton's Woman of the Year for her community activities, which included heading the Salvation Army Drive for 30 years and knitting lap robes for the DuPage Convalescent Center. She was a gracious hostess at her Wheaton home for many of our meetings, and we all enjoyed the spring flowers blooming in her garden. Dorothy died in 2007 at the age of 96. Emma Menke. Emma was initiated by Omega chapter in 1932 and graduated with a degree in piano. She was remembered as a teacher, pianist, composer, and poet. She taught at Concordia Teachers College, now Concordia University, and also at Columbia School of Music. Several of her compositions were premiered at chapter meetings. Emma was president of the Chicago branch of the National League of Pen Women, as well as president of the Northern Region of the Illinois Federation of Music Clubs. She was also active in the Lakeview Music Society. Emma received the Sword of Honor in 1948. She died in 1971, a lifelong member. Florence Rudin. Florence was initiated by Gamma chapter in 1923 and graduated with a degree in voice. She was the soprano soloist at the River Forest Methodist Church for many years. Florence received the Ring of Excellence for the original artwork, which was used for the cover of panpipes for many years, and which was also placed in a memorial window of Lutkin Hall at Northwestern University as a gift from Beta members and alumni. Florence also designed the figure of a Grecian lady for the exclusive use of our chapter, and which appears on the cover of our annual yearbook directory. She served on the Historical Research Committee of SAI for many years. She received the Rose of Honor from our chapter. Florence moved to Wisconsin, where she died in 1995. Florence Boydston, Brownie, as she was known, was a 1933 initiate of Omega chapter, where she served as president and received the Sword of Honor. She served as organist at the First Baptist Church in Oak Park, and the Riverside Methodist Church, among others. She was active in the Chicago Club of Women Organists. Brownie kept the chapter laughing when she served as auctioneer for many white elephant sales. She was part of the chapter's very first vocal trio, along with Florence Rudin and Grace Carlson. Brownie died in 1979. Myrtle Neiman Boyles. Myrtle was a 1930 Initiative Omega chapter where she received the Sword of Honor. Oak Park Alumni chapter was installed at her home. She was chairman of hospitality and reception at the 1950 convention. Myrtle served as province president and received the Ring of Excellence. She died in 1984. Alva Sonder. Alva was initiated by Alpha Epsilon chapter in 1934 and received her degree in piano. She served as the first president of the newly chartered chapter in 1946 and later served as secretary. She received the Sword of Honor in 1949. In 1950, Alva moved to Reno, Nevada. Catherine Vandermolen. Ruth Galvani. Genevieve Mott Etchison. Edith Carnes Beach. Martha Swales James. Nora Jackson Moore. Hazel Lloyd. Annelle Keene. Lucille Jedicke.
5 amazing women formed our foundation and set the standard for Oak Park alumni. From the beginning, they participated in the same activities which enrich our chapter today, providing scholarships, fundraising, we still have those white elephant sales, performing, supporting national projects, enjoying delicious refreshments, having fun, and most of all, forming caring and supportive friendships which last for a lifetime. Thank you, sisters.